What's going on, guys? It's Mike for SimRacing604, and far and away the question I've been asked the most about Automobilista 2 is when the GT3s and Nurburgring were coming. And as I'm sure you've guessed by the title of the video, they are here. In this video, I'm going to get into exactly what has been released with this update, how the content performs, why I was less excited than most sim racers about this update, and then talk about what I feel is the most important part of this update, the changes to the driving physics and force feedback. Let's get into it. As you can see, this is nothing short of a huge update for AMS2. The addition of GT3, GT4, Porsche Cup cars, and the Nurburgring circuit all in this update could give AMS2 the mainstream appeal it's been seeking to date. So in terms of content, here's what's been added per the latest build. We have 3 GT3 cars at the time of this recording. There were supposed to be 4, but thus far I've got the 2015 Mercedes-AMG GT3, 2016 Porsche 911 GT3R, and the 2019 McLaren 720S GT3, and then 3 GT4 cars as well. The 2016 Porsche Cayman GT4 Club Sport, 2017 Camaro GT4R, the 2018 McLaren 570S GT4, and we also have 2 Porsche Cup cars, a 3.8 liter and a 4 liter. And the Nurburgring GP circuit has been added, and we expect the Nordschleife to be added sometime next week. And just a note, the Nurburgring and Nordschleife are part of the Nurburgring DLC, which will be paid content unless you have the season pass. Reiza has stated that their intent is to keep most of the new and upcoming content as free add-ons for the game. And one final note on the new content: if the release of any of this content is what you've been waiting for, now would be a great time to buy in, as Reiza has left the price of the title the same for now, but a price increase is planned for some time in the not too distant future, so buy in now if you can. So obviously this is a huge update. Other than maybe the single player update to GT Sport or the 5-point tire model update to ACC, I can't think of many more significant sim racing updates. But of course, all of this content means nothing if it isn't fun to drive. But I'm very pleased to report that I'm extremely happy with this new content, specifically the GT3 cars and the Cup cars. They're fantastic. They blow my mind. I'm so impressed with what Reiza has done with these cars. By far the best tin tops in AMS2, and I've had a blast driving them. We have GT3 cars in more or less every sim, but even with so much competition, the AMS2 version of these cars, in particular one of my personal favorites, the McLaren 720S GT3, felt great. And by the time most of you see this, the suggestion bar on the right will be filled up with other sim tubers comparing these cars to their AC, ACC, and iRacing counterparts, so I'll leave it up to my peers in the sim racing community to give more insight into how the newest GT3s on the market stack up versus the competition, but I'll summarize my thoughts on the driving experience of the GT3s by saying that I'm very happy, and the same goes for the Cup cars. The GT4s I haven't got on with as much. I couldn't drive the Porsche at all. Keep in mind, everything you see here is beta, and the full release hopefully will iron out some bugs, but I couldn't even get the Porsche running. The McLaren was fun to drive, but I just connect with these GT3 cars and the Porsche Cup cars on another level. I'm so happy with this addition. So I mentioned earlier in this video that I was less excited than many people about this content release, and it's not because I hate any of the new cars or tracks. It's just hard for me to get excited about another sim having GT3 cars in the Nürburgring. Granted, I spent a lot of time driving exactly what I just listed, but I think the hidden strength of AMS2 has always been its unique content. The driving feel in this title has been critiqued heavily since day one, and I've said before that it was an asymptote trajectory trying to reach the force feedback feel of AMS1, but no one can deny now that they've made huge strides in progress since early access to bring the feel closer to AMS1 at least over time. So what I like about AMS2 and why it's in my top 5 sims that I've spent the most time playing is that there's a lot of great content that you can't find anywhere else, and it feels great to drive. Granted, it's hard to market much of the content on offer to the sim racing mainstream, and ultimately the Reiza team needs to make money, but to me, Automobilista and Automobilista 2 will always be the sims I go to for a great driving experience in cars and locations that I can't find elsewhere. So that's the reason I was less excited about GT3s and Nurburgring being added to yet another sim. And finally, at the point of the video where everyone has already clicked away to watch Jimmy Broadbent, what I feel is the most important news of this update. Reiza has done some pretty major updates to the driving feel here in AMS2, and that feel is fantastic. If you've followed my channel for any length of time, you know that over the last few updates I've really encouraged people who walked away from the earlier builds of AMS2 to give it another try, and I'll restate that here. It's not going to be for everyone, like everything in life, quite frankly, but I'm blown away by how good these new cars feel, and this is the biggest thing for me. I was always happy with the cars and tracks in AMS2, and the improved feel really cements it for me as an outstanding racing sim. So with that long preamble out of the way, it's time to drive. I know people have been holding their breath for the release of GT3 cars and the Nurburgring for a long time. I don't have Nordschleife yet, but let's take the Porsche GT3R out to the Nurburgring GP for a lap.